Good morning, everyone. It's Michele Maher here, and I'm joined with Tahani Aburaneh for the my Pivot with Positivity series, just to talk about what we've been going through. We're now past 7 months, and just dealing with the current environment and pivoting your business and pivoting in life for a lot of people as well. So thank you, Tahani, for joining me. If you want to give
It's
us a
a-
few words about who you are and what you're all about.
Thank you for having me here, and hello everyone who's watching. And yes, my name is Tahani. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a real estate coach, and I am also the founder of the FIRE movement, which is Females in Real Estate movement. That's who I am. A mother, a daughter, a friend. Yeah, we can
Right.
go on and on. Yes.
Yes. So as we were talking before we got on camera here, I found myself really getting into that fear when everything got shut down. Felt like I was living in a movie, and I felt the social media was getting so negative. It just really I had a lot of fear of the future and what was happening and things like that. So I kind of got sucked into the whole grocery store, going to the grocery store and stocking up because I do have, a full house here and wanted to make sure that we had adequate food because we didn't know what was happening. And after that, then I sat and I kind of thought about what can I do to help and decided to start these interviews, talking to all the fabulous entrepreneurs that I knew because you could really get into that black hole of fear and I knew I didn't want to stay there.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that is amazing, by the way. That's amazing that you've created this out of all that was happening to all of us all over the world. Yes. I actually created similar something like this, but it was real estate focused and what is happening in real estate in the female in real estate Facebook group. But then I stopped it after a little while. And the reason why in real estate, just like in almost many industries, there was so much going on that for me personally, when there is so much chaos around me, the best thing I can do for me and to protect my mindset is really to kind of, it's not that I don't want to be out there, but I have to kind of like sit with it and shut down all the noise around me and stay focused, because that's the best thing that anyone can do, is protect what comes into our mind, because if you're constantly hearing negative, then all of a sudden everything is going to start changing, your mindset, your physiology, and the whole world seems not going well. Everybody thought everything was really bad, and that's not good. So it's very important for anyone that's listening to realize that when there's so much chaos on the outside, the only thing that you can do is protect the inside and how you feel yourself when there's so much happening. So, and
Right.
the yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to speak to is that I felt that going through what we've all gone through taught us a lot of lessons, but one of them is being adaptable is one of the most important lessons, because life is a constant change. And whether we see it on a grand level, like we went through, or whether we see it in our personal lives, people go through divorce, people go through health issues, people go through, a lot of things that if we can just only become more adaptable. Okay, you know what, I used to be living with a partner, now on my own, what do I do? I used to be very healthy and now I have to deal with this health issue, now what do I do? So that's one of the, I believe for me, is a great lesson to tap into and realize and understand how being adaptable in our life will help us tremendously, versus being fixed and like, no, the only way is the old way, and I'm not going to be used to all of these new ways. And there's going to be a lot of new ways that we have to really be adaptable to.
Right. And when you speak about that, the fact is, as an entrepreneur, you have to be adaptable and you have to be constantly pivoting. And and the fact that you cannot, there are certain aspects we can't change, but it's all about perspective and how you look at what's happening and what you can change and what you can do. The fact that we have this technology alone, just imagine if we didn't have this and we were all just isolated at home and not being able to spread our message and connect with people.
Yes.
So it's really, you're right. The fact is that most people resist change.
Yes, yes.
But
And I also, it's a wonderful thing, like what we went through, the wonderful, I mean, what we went through is not wonderful, but I mean, the lessons behind it, what was wonderful about it is that I felt it was like an awakening for most of us, you know, an awakening of how important it is to hug someone, where we took that for granted, Michele, you know, like just hugging someone, you know, your family members and missing them, and your elderly, like, you know, your mom or dad, and how we don't, you know, like, it just, there's so many things on so many levels that this here taught us, that I'm very grateful for what we went through. For me also, patience hit home, and relaxing is another 2 lessons in my life personally. Patience, because I was going through renovations in my house, and everything was back ordered, and nobody could do anything, and everything had to wait for, they tell you, you know, 5 weeks, and then it's another 5 weeks. So it was like really testing my patience at its best, you know, at its best. So it's so that what, like, I guess for all the listeners that are listening to our conversation today, is like, really sit with it and say, what did the last 6 or 7 months now have taught me? Because going through something like this, we've all learned lessons, but for me, it's absolutely, you know, patience. What is it for you, you know, like, what is it for someone else? So just tapping into that, and just kind of look into it. The other thing I actually learned is how I really slowed down my business, even though I was still busy. But instead of doing 100 things, which we entrepreneurs usually do, like always like this and this and this and that, it simplified my life, and I was able to concentrate and be more focused on very fewer things. And that also created more space in my life, relaxed, you know, everything about me, my body, my health is so much better. And yet still, business was incredible for me. We can talk about my business, but I know for a lot of people, they were hurt financially and business wise. But for the real estate industry, as many years, it just, you know, it slowed, of course, you know, going through the first few couple of months, but then it went like straight up, you know, a shot.
Yeah, when we were first shut down, and nobody could have open houses and that kind of thing. Yeah, right.
No open houses until now. They brought that thing again now, so we can't have open houses now as well too. I don't know if you've heard about that, Michele.
Oh, because of the rolling back. Okay, right. But I know there was I had a real estate a realtor on here as well, and he was talking about the virtual open houses where he took his phone and went through the whole house to show everybody. I'm not sure that is something that I would want to buy a house without physically being inside of it and just seeing it. But I understand that there were a lot of people who were doing that, especially if you were trying to get into a neighborhood. And I believe that was a really good time to do so. If you had been looking in, you know, a high demand neighborhood and you were kind of already familiar with what the houses look like, then you might be more ready to buy based on just seeing it through a phone. But I like to feel the energy of the home too, myself.
100%. Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I love feeling the energy of houses, and each house has a different energy. Absolutely. We can talk about house energies until, you know, the morning, and we can talk about a lot of other things when it comes to that. But you're right. The younger generation seem to be much more okay and more adaptable to the online purchasing and buying, and they did not have any problems with that. And the ones that are our age and maybe even more so older, they still wanted to go and see. But what used to happen is that we would even put in the offer, even though we've got an accepted offer and all of that, that we still have the right to go at least and view it, you know. So it's still, there is still were some of those in cases.
Right. So you would just you would have come and viewed it alone with precautions and everything.
Yes, with two
Okay.
people. Yes, no more than two at a time and all of that. Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. So going back to this whole time and everything, when you were talking about the fact that you slowed your business down, and were able to focus more, I think that is something that people have had the chance to sit back and reflect and figure out with their business where they want to go and what they want to focus on. Going back to what you were saying before too, where you found that you were doing the show or to talk about real estate and then you pulled back from it. I was doing these, and I think it was probably end of April or something, where I felt a bit overwhelmed because everything had come online. Everybody was offering their services and free webinars and free information. And there were so many things, because I love the personal development side of things too. So I love to learn more. I know there's so much I have to learn. And so I was signing up for everything. And so I was doing these, I was signed up for that. And I had already I was already working on my branding for my jewelry business prior to us being shut down. I was doing a whole rebrand. I did a photo shoot right before we got shut down. And so I was trying to do that, and I found myself very overwhelmed, and I had to pull back because there wasn't enough time in the day. And I felt like I was as busy as I was prior to the shutdown, and I'm was
Love what you
reflecting.
just said.
Yeah, I was
Love what
reflecting,
you
like,
just said.
I don't want to go back to that. We were always busy, like you say. We were all, and it's busy, like almost scattered. We always have so many ideas in our head and so many things we want to do. And I think even more so as women, because we're also thinking about the kids and everything too. So so I pulled back and I figured out what is important to me and what do I really want to focus on, and let's just worry about those aspects and not be signing up for everything.
I love what you just said, Michele, because that's exactly what happened, is that people felt like, oh my gosh, I can't be with my friends, I can't be with my parents, I can't be with my kids, I can't be with anybody, oh, I gotta go online. And then all of a sudden, everybody and their mother and their daughters and their kids, they started to doing webinars, and it was just so much noise that the only and best thing, like I said earlier on, is to really, shut all of that noise out and just sit back and think, what do you want to do? And I've accomplished, even with the first couple of months, I've actually put together a beautiful online course that I have not been able to do for years, because it's been like, Tahani, what are you going to come up with something and I didn't have time. And I'm like, oh, I don't have time. But then, because I shut down all the noise, I was able, to sit back and say, what can I do, to kind of support this woman. And I still haven't even launched it yet. It's there, it's done, and I'm getting very close to launching it. But I want to launch it at a time where it's not feeling like it's being an opportunist, where everybody's struggling to make $1, yet everybody's trying to sell you on many things, and I felt like everybody was trying to be right in your face. Everybody started becoming an expert at something, and I'm like, okay, you know what, that is out, and when the right time is here, then we're able to come out and launch the product. And so I've done a full course. I'm so proud of myself, and I've worked on many other things. I was able also to relax, like think of our bodies, like we're constantly in a fight or flight kind of a thing, like, this thing here and this thing here and this thing there. And like, it's nice to just sit and relax and enjoy. I did more gardening. I did more walks. Like I walk at least 3 or 4 times usually, but I did way more walking than usual. I enjoyed nature, and all of that helped with everything, you know.
Right.
It's really being grateful for the things that we did not even have the time to be grateful for.
Yes, right, exactly. And there's so much that we are grateful for that we we took for granted, but not on purpose. Like we like the idea of sitting down at a Starbucks or another coffee shop with somebody and just having a coffee together. All of a sudden, that was gone. Grandparents seeing their grandchildren, that was gone. There were so many things, and hugs, like you were saying, hugs, which is something we really miss. So we really, but the thing is, there's so much to be grateful for. And as I was saying,
Yes.
the technology we have, we're in our homes,
Yes.
we have that time, we have the time to relax, we have the time to spend with family. For a lot of people, they had all of a sudden so much more time with their kids
Yes.
when the
Yes.
kids,
Me too. My son
when the
came
kids
home.
were home. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as
Yeah.
well, the nature gardening, so many people got it. Then we had beautiful summer. The weather was probably one of the best summers we've had in a long time. So there's definitely a lot to be grateful
Yes,
for.
for
And
me, my
yeah,
son came from Toronto and he lived with me for a few months, and that was such a gift. Like such a gift that was so nice, you know. It was just so nice. It was just a beautiful gift. That's all I can say.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think that
I'm wearing one of the rings that's made by Michele. I'm so happy. There we go, ladies. I love it.
yes, yeah. So thank you. Yeah, so there's so much to be grateful for. And the thing is that there's also been, a lot of opportunities coming out of this, and a lot of people have really taken this time to figure out what's important, figure out their values and what they want to do going forward, but also figuring out how to pivot their business so that they can operate during this time. And I think a lot of those things are going to continue, like all of this the online conferences, and having hybrid events where it is online as well as live. That's, I think, something we're going to see going forward for sure.
100%, 100%. And for the real estate industry, there's a lot of things that are going to change. A lot of things is going to be more and more online, whether it's open houses, whether it's the offers. It's funny because I used to have this program, it's called DocuSign, where I've had that program since 2009, and yet now everybody is getting the DocuSign and everything else.
Right.
So yeah, it is definitely the trend. It is definitely it's changing industries, but you got to stay focused for anyone, no matter what business you're in, and say, like, what can I do to become adaptable and and see a better future in this business? Because if you don't see a better future, and that's another thing too, is that for a lot of people, they've decided that this is not the work that they want to do. It gave them space to realize that this is not where I want to be in my life, or
Right.
doing what I want to do with my life, and all of that stuff. It's so incredible, Michele, that I was helping a friend finding a divorce lawyer because she was going through the relationship, because you're in your partner's face 24/7, with all that happened.
Right.
And she's like, I'm done. We're just gonna divorce, and can you help me find a divorce lawyer? And I thought, okay, I'll check in with the people that I know, and I can call in. Honest to goodness, it was crazy just to realize that all of family law lawyers are so busy. They're not taking on any more clients. Like, this is crazy. Who would have known that family lawyers, their business is going to boom? It's sad, but it is booming because it's like, this whole thing here, this awakening, it
Yeah.
forced us to really see our partners, talk to our partners, and see whether it's working or not working. Yet for others, it strengthened the relationships. So there is a lot that is
Right.
happening. And for the real estate industry, everybody thought it was gonna, like, you know what, it was gonna die. We're gonna go through bad recession. Everything is gonna be like, 50 cents on a dollar. And that, it did not happen. If anything, and I don't know if you've experienced it in your area, because Toronto is a little bit different than outside, or the skirts of outside of Toronto. In the Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo here, it was crazy market that we've experienced. Like everything that comes, just kind of goes. There's so many people from outside of this area start coming to this
Coming.
area, which, yeah,
Well,
which
yeah.
people from Toronto went to
From Toronto,
Mississauga,
right?
people
Yeah.
from Mississauga came to Milton, people from Milton came to this area. So it's what we call a ripple effect in the real estate world. And there is all these people that are coming from those parts of the world buying here, and they think that this is on sale because it's so cheap compared to what they're used to in those cities. So yeah, we've experienced a really good market in here. So it was really busy real estate wise.
Right. I think also a lot of people realized as everybody came home and everybody was working from home that they didn't have the physical space to have their own space, and everyone was on top of each other or something like that. And working remotely as well meant that they didn't have to be in Toronto anymore and they could be further out.
Yes, and it's so hard on the people that had a bachelor like apartment or a one bedroom, like you're eating, sleeping, exercising, working, all of that from one area, right? Where people are realizing we do need space, and that's why they start coming out of Toronto. I was in Toronto a few weeks ago, and I was walking down on Queen Street and King Street, and I was shocked and saddened by how many
Yeah.
businesses have closed, and how this has affected so many people at so many levels, and mostly small businesses, Michelle. So this is really, yeah, it's really sad to see. But again, I'm just hoping that all of those entrepreneurs will start tapping into their creative side and thinking, okay, what else can I do right now? Because it's going to open a space for them to be more creative, more what else can I do with my skills and with my business online.
Right. Yeah. And what do people need, and how can you help people with with what they need, and that's also why it's so important right now to be supporting small businesses, and whether it be getting takeout from the restaurants, or as we're coming up to the holiday season as well, supporting small business for any purchases that you're making in terms of Christmas presents and things like that. But
True.
rather than the the big box stores and things like that, because some places have online, Amazon has gone through the roof during this time too. So look at where you can, who do you know and what do they do and how can you support them? Do you need those products or services or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I know many people that did well. One of my son's friends, he said he was in the process of creating hand wash, hand
Okay.
wash product. And then
Oh.
all of a sudden when this happened, then it became sanitized, products, and he made millions and millions just distributing this because it was like perfect timing.
Well,
And they
that.
just pivoted, right at the right time and everything. And this kid, like, I'm talking about like a 31, 32, made millions just by being there, right time, right place, doing some stuff. So that's it. Just, yeah. So what I want the listeners to realize is that, yes, some of us are having a hard time, but also some of us are really thriving in this. And if you are one of the first group, then just think, what else can I, do to pivot my business or do something different that can actually be good with what is happening right now in our lives.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And going back to what you were saying about slowing down, focusing, sometimes, when you're working on so many things and you have so many ideas in your head, you may, nothing ends up getting done. And when you focus on something on a much, smaller scale, you can get more done in less time.
Yes.
And I guess that's like you said, you developed your course, and I know a lot of people who've done that. They've somebody else who wrote a book during this period of time, and other people who have done speeches for online competitions, things, going back to what have I always wanted to do, but I kept putting off because I said I didn't have the time. And
Yes.
that's exactly it. We have the same 24 hours in the day, but it's what you focus your time on.
Yes, and also I think staying consistent is very, very important, because what you saw is there's a lot of people that gained a lot of weight. Why? Because they thought, oh, the gyms are closed. Okay, well, the gyms are closed, but you could do so much more. Look at all the people that live, in prison, in a small little like cell. They still exercise, they still do push-ups, they still like do jumping jacks. So that is not an excuse. And same thing with any of the work that you are doing. If you would have stayed consistent doing something every day about your health, about even about work, then, when everything starts opening again and everything back to normal, they're going to be way ahead of everybody else that did nothing but, sat and watched TV.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to, at the beginning, a lot of people that I spoke with were always talking about when we get back to normal, when we get back to normal. And that was always what everybody was talking about, when we get back, but we don't want to go back, right? This is an
And it
awakening,
won't
as you
be, and it
say.
won't be. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to, this is our chance to create something new
Yes.
and to create something better, because as you say, before we were always busy. And I know for myself, I always felt like I, at times couldn't catch up. And it was you never had the time to sit and be present with yourself. You were always thinking of the next thing or the
Yes.
next appointment you had to go to.
Yes, and even financial wise, it's an amazing, great opportunity to sit down and look at your money and look at where you're spending and look at what are you really saving or are you not? Look at where you want to be, like, down the road. All of this is just opening the doors to even sit. Even I still did the same thing too, even with all of my, the properties that I've got, or even the property that I have, and even everything else, my businesses. I'm like, where am I at right now? Where do I want to go? Is this really the path that I should continue on, or should I, like, so this is just a beautiful space if you just focus and understand, and look at the inside out and say, where do I want to be and where I'm going or heading.
Right. Yes. Yeah, for sure. And what about the when it comes to real estate? Because I know that you are, a real estate investor, and you coach on that as well. What's happening in terms of where do you see the condo market going?
Okay, that's
Because
awesome.
right now downtown downtown is empty. I don't know when the banks are going back. I think I had heard a lot of people say not till 2021.
Shifting, yes.
And when they do go back, I don't know. People are, I think employers are getting a lot more out of the employees working from home, because they are working, they're more focused and they don't have that time just chit chatting in the,
Office.
when they get a coffee or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
both of my daughter and my son-in-law work in the banking industry downtown, like right on Bay and
yeah,
downtown. And definitely there is going to be, again, just like the real estate, the banking industry is going to be seeing a lot of changes as well. And my son-in-law ended up having to work from home, and my daughter, they had her stay going to work, even in the midst of all of that was happening, even in like March and April, she still went to work
really.
yeah. So it depends on the job, but definitely the banks are right now thinking, okay, what can we do to cut down on rent. Like rent is huge, and there is huge spaces that they have, and who can we have, and working from home, and who needs people to work from the office, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
it's there's a lot of shifts being happening right now. And even if you're working from home, what can these banks do to support you? It's really hard, and that's why a lot of people are having a lot of what we call I don't want to say mental issues, but mental health issues, because it's just so hard. You're working from home, you're exercising from home,
You're not getting out. You
you're
don't
not
get a
getting
break. You're
out, or
home, home,
yes.
home. Yeah.
So there is a lot of that. We still don't know where the results of all of this, but I think it's going to be more and more of that. And the condo market right now in Toronto, just about 3 days ago, I read an article. I'm not that familiar with the downtown Toronto market, but I read and I hear from my friends, because I am outside of Toronto in the Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo, about an hour west of Toronto. So in this area, we are absolutely booming like crazy, the market here, where yet downtown, all they're seeing is everybody leaving and then going to live with their, parents. Like my kids, they say, Mommy, we would come and live with you in a second, but they still both, thank God, they still both have their jobs and they're still okay. So they're still downtown Toronto, but it's changing. Rental market, there's a lot of vacancies. And right now, landlords are actually giving a lot of bonuses, or like things to attract tenants. And they're even saying, in terms of development and developers and builders, they're even saying, they thought that the bachelor like a type of condo, it was one bedroom was one of their biggest sellers. But right now they're looking at that and thinking, really, is that what we're going to do in the future? Because right now that's where most of the vacancies are happening. And so there's going to be a lot of changes happening in that industry.
Right. And then what about all the commercial properties downtown? All
Oh
the towers,
boy.
all the bank towers. And I think it was CIBC, I think, that was working on a new tower.
Yes, it was CIBC that was working on a new tower.
And they were going to close Commerce Court or leave Commerce Court or whatever. So yeah, no, what about all that space? Like there's so much space. But when I was thinking, we have all of that space, and then we have the whole problem of homelessness and the people who can't afford somewhere to live. And is there a way to balance it out?
Yes, of course there's going to be, and there's going to be a lot of creativities where we're like, we've got all these commercial spaces, and what does one do with it? Same thing actually with hotels, because there's so many hotels.
Yes,
And what is
right.
like, I've got one of my friends who is in the hotel business, probably I would say maybe third largest hotel owner in Canada. Again, like he and his company are having such a hard time right now, and he's constantly thinking, what can we do in those spaces? Because there's hardly, the occupancy like went from 80%, 90% to right now, like just a few places that they're able to rent. So there's going to be a lot of shift in all of these industries, to the point where they could be turned into apartment buildings, because there's a huge shortage in Canada when it comes to affordable apartment building and housing. So they could actually be turned into that, so that we're able to house more people and make it more affordable, because the rent as well shot through the roof in these areas. Not in Toronto. In Toronto is going down, but over here, like a townhouse you could maybe rent for 1,900, and for 1,500 right now you're looking at 19, or maybe 2,200, up to 2,200. So for anybody, that's a huge increase. It's not like just only a few dollars. And people are right now afraid of moving in these areas, in the suburbs, versus the downtown Toronto, where everybody's moving out, because think about it. My daughter and my son, they're paying close to $3,000 in those areas. Yet they come here, even if they pay 2,200, Michelle, that's still a good deal for them, you know. So, but for the people that are in here that were paying 1,500, that's a
Yeah.
huge increase to go up to 22. So there is still a lot of shifts in the real estate market that is happening, and I'm a big believer that, you know, going into the winter right now, things will slow down, but also those that have to sell will have to list during the winter months, which is, you know, November, December, January, February. And I'm ready again to buy constantly. Like this year has been an amazing year to buy, but not to get caught in the overpaying, because there were a lot of the times, even in this area, there were times where people overbid, you know, with 30, 40, 50, $100,000. As long as the numbers work, you're okay to do that. But if the numbers don't work, then don't get caught in that, because there will always be a deal to be had.
Right. Yeah. And I did understand there were a lot of offers on a lot of houses, and but at the same time, as you're saying, this is also a good time in terms of deals to be had.
Yeah, the real estate market, you know, we might see it slowing down, but I don't know if I see it really dropping, you know, 20, 30%. That's not going to be the case, in my opinion. And I just think that if you choose the right place, and right now, because you can cash flow way more, then that is a good way to get into real estate investing if you
Oh
want.
yeah,
Or
with the
yeah,
interest rates are almost nothing. I
yeah.
mean, really, they've never been so low. So yeah,
Like
exactly.
less than 2%. That's crazy free money, crazy free money. And then there is an opportunity to refinance and take a line of credit if you could, and then maybe buy
Right.
more properties and then have those even more cash flow than ever before. You know, if you would have rented it for 1,500, right now you can rent it for, you know, 19 or 2,000 or 2,200. That's like a crazy, you know, cash flow. So there is opportunity to be had if you are able to kind of sit down. And if you're a lady or you're a man that says, oh, this is just too expensive right now and I can't even enter the real estate market, I would say, why not go in with maybe another friend of yours? If you're single, get with another single person. Or even if you have a partner, get in with maybe two people that you can buy something. One live upstairs, one live downstairs, but enter the market at least with something that is rather better than nothing.
Yeah, right. Definitely. That's great, great advice as well. And I know in my area, as well, and I'm in the West End, Etobicoke of Toronto, right? It's been crazy in terms of houses are up for sale, and they're sold, you know, in a week or whatever. There's not that
Oh,
many, so.
in Cambridge, there was a builder that put a development. Mind you, it's a smaller development. It was about 120, and in 1 hour it was sold. In 1 hour it was sold out. Talk about, like, you know,
Wow.
hot market. Yeah, so there is that's still happening. It's just crazy. There was another development by Madame and another developer. I actually visited their office yesterday, and I was saying, anything left, you know, just because I like to buy in the winter always. And then the guy says, oh, the whole development sold like as soon as they opened, as soon as everybody started buying after the COVID. He goes, I think by mid-August, I'm talking about like this development, I think it was close to 1,000 homes. It was sold out. Like, it's just crazy. The markets in this suburb, in these areas, they're just going like unbelievable, because people no longer want to live in a condo. I've always said that investing in condos, because I know a lot of my friends sell condos as an investment, there is nothing wrong with it. It is okay, and you can still make money. But if you compare investing in a condo to investing in a single detached or a townhouse or a semi, you will make more money. Period. You will make more money. Yes, you're going to make money on a condo, but you will make more on a single, and more so in these times than in any other times before.
Yeah, right. Because people want a backyard. People, especially with everything that we've gone through, and everybody's appreciating nature and getting out for walks and things like that. Yeah, and you know, like you said, working at home, exercising at home, eating every single meal at home, everybody at home. It's you need to get out, and so yeah, people are definitely wanting that as well. So yeah. All right. Well, it was great talking to you, Tahani. So we will look forward to your online course at
Thank
some
you.
point coming out, and
Yes. They can check out tahani.ca, tahani.ca, and they've got a lot there. And I was talking, we were talking, we're referring to the Ignite program. So yes, so that's going to be launching soon.
okay. And then you have your group as well on Facebook for the
Yes, the females, yes,
yeah,
for
the
all
females
the
in real estate.
yes, the women that are listening. You came to the conference,
Yes.
and
Yep. It was
yeah, and it
fabulous.
was, yeah, thank
Fabulous
you.
conference.
Thank you. And we were hoping to have a 1,000 women conference this year, but again, this has happened. And right now I'm in the middle of deciding where are we going to do an online until we see what we can do, you know, in person, or are we going to make it into a smaller group, more intimate, and just trying again to understand what is the best outcome and what is the best thing to do for the ladies.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much it's great that you are there. You know, for all the women who are interested in investing in real estate, as you know,
Making more money. At the end of the day, it's not about real estate. It's really about
it,
making more money, you know, through
and
real estate.
being financially independent.
And being financially independent. Absolutely. It's all about financial well-being. Even if you're not yet at a point where you are independent, but at least you are looking after your finances. So it's really, I call it financial well-being in
Well-being.
terms of,
Oh, nice.
yeah, because it's one
Yeah.
step closer or one step better than where you were like a while ago. So don't compare yourself to others that have so many properties, or they have this and they have that. No, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all about progress, and it's all about, you know, just being a bit better than you were before. And if you lost a job, okay, then now it's your turn to find something that you love to do so that you can get closer to what you want. And for those that are thinking about real estate, there is nothing better than having a side hustle, even as a real estate realtor, or, you know, any of the other options that you have if you are looking for a job.
Right. Yeah. And as we know, this is the best time. Everybody's online. Everything is online, and it's going to continue that. I think even in terms of, you know, the whole retail side of business and everything. Myself, I've been doing more shopping online, where I might have gone out to the mall and everything. It's, again, I think that everything is changing and shifting, so it's figuring out the best ways to serve people, because we still need, like, there's still customer needs
Yeah,
to
Michelle,
be,
would your business have been better now that it's online? Because I mean, you can sell anything online, right? Do you think it's
right.
gone a bit better, or are you still shifting and trying to find a way to?
Yeah, there is definitely, and I love the idea of the online, because, as you know, it's a lot of work to bring everything to a vendor show and pack everything up and show it all and pack it back up, and so yes, but the issue is with online right now that, everybody's online, so it's very crowded, so it's all about branding yourself and showing your individuality, your uniqueness, and things like that. So that's what
Yeah. So that is
yeah.
true, but at the same time, I would say, Michelle, just, you know what, do it. Like, have a store online, have your pieces showcase, and you get to learn how to improve that as you move along. But don't wait and say, oh, not until I have a brand, not until I have this, because
Oh, no,
people love,
yeah,
yeah, because I
I
already
already
know you. I
Yeah, I
already
already
know you. And if we're going to do an online summit, you know, this is your like, you know, go to this online business and then buy there. So it's like, there is still a lot of things that you can become very creative with, that is, and not to worry about the competition. There's always somebody for, you know,
Oh, no,
for
no.
everything.
Yes. Yes, definitely. I agree. And I already did have an online store. So I already have my online store. It's just what I'm trying to do to bring more, you know, to bring more people to it is I'm starting to do these online jewelry shows where I can showcase it and you know, but basically it's me modeling everything because
I
that's,
love
you
it. The
know,
best
how it
model in
is.
the world. Yes.
But you know, just talking about the pieces and things like that. And I do intend also to start doing some videos of behind the scenes showing how I create the pieces and things like that, because I think
Oh,
people are interested in that side of things too. And I think that's the same thing for everybody who has come online, you know, just sharing who you are. That's what it is all about, sharing
yes.
who you are and the process involved. And like you say, going back to consistency, that's, you know, that's very key, just being consistent and
Yes.
moving forward,
Yes.
even if it's baby steps, moving
Yes.
forward one day at a time.
Yes, yes, being
That's,
adaptable, being consistent, and just, you know what, and kind of keep on going. That's what it is.
yes, it is for sure. So thank you again. And
Thank you,
I will put
Michelle.
your information up underneath this interview when I put it up as well. And I look forward to when we can see each other in person again and have that hug.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. I'm looking forward to hugging you too. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you.